You know him from CNN. He was there back when they had an audience. And I don't think it's any coincidence that it's all gone since he left. He's an incredibly talented Pentagon correspondent. He's also very, very funny. Please let's have a big hand for Jamie McIntyre.
Thank you. I actually have to move this. Okay, so I admit I'm a little bit nervous because just before I came up here, they told me that there is actually one of the cameras in the back here is actually from the Fox News channel. And having spent all of my career at CNN, I'm not used to being on TV with that many people watching. So even though, and I just want to make this clear, it turns out it's actually just a closed circuit feed to the Fox newsroom. So. But actually, it's a great honor to be here competing for the title of DC's funniest reporter. And I'm glad to be in a contest where I actually might have a chance to win, because you have to admit that's a pretty low bar. DC's, in Washington's funniest reporter. I mean, it's kind of like being the best political team on television. Now, once you put that television caveat in there, it changes the whole thing. It's like, wait a minute. Best political team? That's on, on television. No, okay. Not such a big deal. Kind of reminds me a little bit about, remember when Jocelyn Elders, when she was the Surgeon General, and she proposed teaching masturbation in school? Do you remember that? And I thought, damn, that's something I could have excelled at. So I feel like, I'm in the game here. I have a chance, I have a shot. I do have to clear up just a couple of things, because before I came here, I made a little promotional video for the event under the bad advice of Christina Davidson, who took her little flip camera out and asked me to pretend that I was auditioning for David Schuster's job over at MSNBC. So I did a little thing just off the cuff where I tried to affect a persona of a sort of, fatuous, self-absorbed television reporter. And this is the shocking part, and I know you're going to be shocked about this. It turns out some people thought it was real. So I started to get concerned messages from my friends saying, like, ooh, this is going to be really embarrassing. Your audition tape has leaked out. And one person said to me, says, like, ooh, this must be like, it's like you're peeing and the bathroom door was left open. So I have to just clear a few things up. First of all, it was a joke, okay? I'm not auditioning for David Schuster's job. And a couple of things I said, I shouldn't really have to explain this, but a couple of things I said on the little video are just, they're not true. For instance, I did not compromise any military missions or jeopardize the lives of U.S. troops when I was reporting from the Pentagon. That was a joke. Oh, by the way, and some people picked up on a little line I put in my joke bio, where I said the reason I left CNN at the end of 2008 was that it was part of a network-wide quality reduction initiative. And I was joking. I love CNN. CNN was very good to me. So I just want to set the record straight. First of all, as far as I know, there is no quality reduction initiative. Any quality reduction at CNN, certainly not the result of any initiative, and not connected in any way to my departure. So I just want to make clear that was a joke. So you're probably wondering, you're looking around, you're probably like, well, where are the big name? Where are the big name people competing in this thing? And I'm just here to tell you the reason that you're not seeing like the big stars here is that it turns out that these mega, global, juggernaut media conglomerates are pretty thin-skinned. They really don't like their stars going out and making any, self-deprecating humor that could possibly be seen as criticism of the news organizations. Because, these are very sensitive organizations and their feelings are hurt really easily. I happen to know for a fact, actually I don't know for a fact, I've been told that one network correspondent who wanted to be in tonight's event was told by her network that it would be inappropriate for her to be in such a frivolous setting. And I'm not going to name the network because I don't want to start calling people out, but I would just say that it is the same network whose flagship anchor on New Year's Eve was being questioned about his safe word by Kathy Griffin. And again, I'm not saying what network was involved because wouldn't be right. But, you know, full disclosure, the truth is I personally might be responsible for the fact that there's nobody from CNN here, because back in 2006, in my very first foray into stand-up comedy, I competed in a similar event to this in New York City. It was for the funniest reporter on the planet. Talk about pressure. And I'm pretty sure the winner went on to like the intergalactic competition. So it's my first time, and of course I'm talking about covering the Pentagon. I'm doing a little riff about covering Donald Rumsfeld and how hard it is and how he doesn't answer questions and how he likes to ask and answer his own questions and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know, but the guy, you know, Rumsfeld doesn't intimidate.
The guy I'm afraid of in my job. The guy I'm afraid of is, and maybe you've seen him on TV, Lou Dobbs.
Because every time I'm on his show and I finish my report, he asks me some version of this question.
Jamie, how could what you've just reported possibly be true? Because it flies in the face of everything I personally believe.
And I got a big laugh, just like now. Got a decent laugh, and I thought that worked. And it wasn't until I was driving home on the New Jersey Turnpike that some big muckety-muck from CNN called me to ask me how I could possibly have attacked Lou Dobbs in person. I'm thinking, attack. It's like, first of all, I'm thinking, we're big boys. We can make a little fun of ourselves, right? I mean, we're not too big for that. And I'm thinking, and it wasn't even a joke. I just made an observation. And by the way, it's an observation that was true. And what I really wanted to say to this guy was like, have you seen the show?
That we have U.S. military being protected by private security forces, Jamie? Well, is there any sense of shame and embarrassment in that Pentagon?
Well, apparently somewhere between 2006 and you know, a couple of months ago, somebody actually did see the show. And Lou left, you know, with his $8 million voluntarily. For those of you in the radio audience, I'm making little air quotes. Voluntarily. With his $8 million. And by the way, Lou was fine with the shtick. He thought it was funny. He was going to put it on his show. Thank God he didn't, because I would have left CNN 3 years earlier had he done that. But, you know, you can't make this stuff up. Actually, I take that back. You can make it up. When I look at what's on cable television these days, I like to call it news whiz. Because what I see on... No, not because I'm pissed off or anything. It's just, it is to news what cheese whiz is to cheese. I mean, and you all know what cheese whiz is, right? It's not cheese. It's you know, it looks like cheese. It can be used as cheese if you're stuck, but it's not actually cheese. It's a cheese food product. And when I look at TV these days, that's kind of what I see. I see something that it kind of looks like news. You know, you could use it for news if you didn't have any actual news, but it's not actually news. It's a simulated news-like product. So I got out of that business and I got into the high-paying career field of blogging. Because that's where all the money is. Maybe you didn't know that. It's like opening a mint. You're just minting money. It's like a gravy train. It's like the Acela of gravy trains. It's this blogging thing. So I have a blog called thelineofdeparture.com, and I encourage you all to go through and just keep clicking on it. Don't actually have to read the blog. It's actually similar to something I told my wife when we first got married. And I've been married 32 years. When we first got married, my wife, I said, honey, communication is the key to a good marriage. So one thing we should sort out right away is, if you want to make love, we should just have some sort of signal. So if you want to make love, you should just sort of reach over and, give a little tug in the appropriate spot. And my wife says to me, well, what if I don't want to make love? And I said, well, just tug it about 300 or 400 times. And it's kind of the same way with the blog. You don't actually have to read it. Just go there, just start clicking, just click through 300 or 400 times. It's the same effect. I think my time is up. I just want to say thank you very much. Don't forget this is for a really good cause. The Committee to Protect Journalists, and I think I'm going to need some protection after tonight. And also Reporters Without Borders. And, if we raise enough money tonight, we can get those reporters some borders, They're going around without any borders. And we can get the, and by the way, just to be clear, I don't think they mean, when they say borders, I don't think they mean, just any bookseller. I think really any purveyor of books and magazines, I think. Thank you very much.
Jamie McIntyre, everyone.